Evening, everyone. I just joined a little bit earlier just to see if there's anyone burning questions. And yeah. Okay, thank you. All right. Welcome. 2 weeks left. How did we get here? Far out. Time goes so quickly. I don't know if you feel the same, or maybe you're feeling like everything's going slow. Kobe and I will know exactly where it is in the unit because we've just done a heap of marking. And yeah, really, really proud of where you've gotten with your assignment one. They were a joy to mark. So thank you so very much. I just have some updates before I do acknowledgement of country, and I might make that nice and big so that that comes on the recording as well. If I can find the button. There we go, I think. Hey, okay. So important updates. Assignment one feedback has been released, and also there's an announcement about assignment one feedback. And as instructors and teachers, we use student data all the time. We use your summative data in terms of your results. We look at discussion board posts, and engagement at the moment is a little bit on the low side. And that could be indicative of the time that you have at the moment because maybe that you're really pushed with other assignments. So this doesn't come with any judgment. It's a call to action. Okay. It's a call to action. So what I've noticed is that the announcements aren't being read with as high a rate as what they were at the start of the unit. Okay. So you need to make sure that announcement info has been read. I'm also noticing that module information has petered off. And it's important that you access the learning and the module information. So again, this is a call to action. I know that everyone would have I would have heaps of pressing questions around assignments, heaps of pressing questions around, how do I start or where do I go for this information? It's really important that you self-seek information first. And I always think the best of people, and that's called positive regard. But it's important that you know that I also look at how often you are accessing material, okay, to make sure that my question is in relation is measured based on what you know already. So, for example, when I get questions around assignment one feedback, I have been checking to see if the person who's sending me a question has read the feedback post and if that's been read or not. And then I answer their question appropriately. I have questions about assignment two. I take a look. Have they accessed the assignment brief? Have they seen or watched the how do you do assignment two video? Okay, and then I answer their question. So it's really important that you see this as a call to action and know that as your teacher, I have visibility on the materials, how they're being used, how much they're being accessed, and I have noticed that that's petering off. So this is a call to action to re-engage with that material and that it's a higher priority for you before assignment two's due. There is an assignment two discussion board, and that closes on the 12th of the 4th. That is to get you into gear to make sure that you check that you have your outcomes correct. And anyone who is following that discussion will notice how repetitive it is, but that's okay. It doesn't matter if people are selecting the same outcomes. Use your peers as collegial support. Look at what they are posting. If your outcome codes are very different to someone else's, check them before you post. Use your peers' information to guide you. There are lots of people doing this course. I'm sure that there's WhatsApp groups and messenger groups where you're helping each other. Lean on each other. And if you can answer each other's questions in the discussion board, please do. It is not just for teachers to be or instructors to be monitoring those posts. Okay, now we're beginning. So I'd like to acknowledge the Wurundjeri and the Bunurong people of the Kulin Nation. They're the traditional owners of where I live, I work, and thrive. And it is the gift of country today because of my Indigenous brothers and sisters, their continuous connection to land, its waterways, and it spans more than 60,000 years. It's important to know that sovereignty was never ceded, and I personally commit to ongoing equality, historical acceptance, and unity towards reconciliation in my words and actions. Okay, so workshop plan tonight is slightly different to others. And this is almost like a little bit of a lesson plan. So, Kobe, I don't know how we're going to track for time. What do we do? Do we put like a timer on for every second? What do you every section? What do you think?
I would love to be the one responsible for keeping you to time based on the people that are here. Do you want some kind
Awesome.
of alarm, an obnoxious cough?
Any of the above.
Do you want me to be that one girl in the front row going, you said after 3 minutes that we'd be doing something else?
I would love that. Thank you so much. Okay, so this is a little bit of an idea of how you can start to scaffold time, and also just being cognizant of every workshop and tutorial that you do. It has components, and as teachers, we try as much as we can to stick to time. And I'm going to give it a go tonight. I know we always start on time and we routinely finish to time, but I know that we get carried away with discussions and we love to chat and we love questions. So let's see how we go. And I think that when you're trying to plan for time, always add extra because you don't know how your students are going to respond to instructions, and you always want to allow time for collaboration, questions, because that's part of learning. In online tutorials, we don't get the same feedback. I love the fact that they use thumbs up. Kobe checks questions and all those things, and that really helps to know, yeah, where we are at. Okay, so that feedback is really important. In a class, you get glazed eyes, you get 400 hands up, you get the same question, or you get different questions asking the same thing that you've said 4 times, and that's part of getting used to life as a teacher. Okay, now we move on. So, a little bit of assignment two at the start and at the end, just so you know where we're going. Assignment two is a summative task. Okay, just like assignment one has an opportunity to feed forward, but it's a different task type. So you don't have the opportunity to repeat the same skills of academic writing and reflection in this task. You do have the opportunity to apply the feedback about your curriculum, your approach to diverse learners, and also how you apply adjustments in the classroom can be fed forward. But for the most part, the task type of a reflection is a summative task. It's not repeated. This assignment two is a summative task in the sense that it is the summation, it is the pinnacle of the unit, it is the culmination of all of the learning. And in the tutorial this week, you'll see how all of the parts of the task match and coincide with different materials in the unit that you have experienced so far. So assignment two has two parts. The first is the first 4 weeks of a unit plan that should go for a term. Terms in schools tend to go for 9 to 10 weeks, and you're only planning the first 4 weeks. When we had a longer session um, at ACU, you would do a whole term plan, and it became a really great package for practical that you would take to your school. But in terms of making it and accessible for the amount of time, you're planning the first 4 weeks. The next part are your lesson materials, and your lesson materials are like a package. So you have your lesson plan, which is a 55-minute lesson plan. And you also have one teaching resource that goes with that lesson plan. So it could be a PowerPoint, a doc, a Canva. Many of you referred to resources in your assignment one. So you spoke about the activities that students will be doing and you spoke about resources. So this is the resource. Those two items must be linked. So please don't pick a lesson to plan and then a resource from another lesson. They must be interlinked. And your markers for this task will mark holistically. So all of these, the three items, which are two parts, they thread through the rubric quite nicely. So just making more connections to learning materials and the purpose of doing them. It's very important that you do this, and that is those checking for your learning discussion board posts, and some of them have very funny numbering in them, and that numbering relates to assessment outcomes that are in assignment 2. If you're wondering what all those numbers mean, you can find them in your course, or you can even search by the terms that are in the assignment task sheet. And at the moment, as I said before, I'm noticing that there isn't a lot of engagement with these discussion posts. So I implore you to use them because they are very related to assignment 2. Doing these discussion posts will help you do well. Okay, it's applying your learning. It is one thing to read the materials in the module, it is another to do the work and to engage and use your brain in a different manner by thinking and doing. So we go through this in detail in your tutorial and we'll look at some more examples. But so you have that theoretical understanding of for, as, and of learning. So your for learning is your formative learning. And that is during the learning cycle or even beforehand because it can help a teacher plan next steps. So anything that is prior learning or informs a teacher of to what to do next is formative. Then, when you have as learning, it is more reflective, where students have the ability to monitor their own progress, but also set their own goals, self assess, and an opportunity to really think about their thinking and take ownership of the learning. Then our summative learning is at the end of the unit or sequence. It's used for reporting or grading and includes tasks that have a higher weight or have more significance to provide evidence of overall achievement. Now, if you allow me to go to the next slide. This is the same information presented in a different way. So, assessment for learning enables teachers to use information about a student's knowledge to inform their teaching, and it provides feedback to students on their learning and how to improve. So, in each of these examples, for, as, and of learning, it's a little bit of a higher question for you. In your unit plan, when will assessment occur? And also, what are some examples of assessment tools that you might use? For example, what ICTs can you use? So, if I could ask you in the chat, where do you think assessment for learning would occur in terms of, or most predominantly occur in terms of less unit timing? Many of you will,
During the lessons,
sorry, say that again, Tamna.
assessment for learning will happen during the lessons throughout the process. We can guide students where they're going wrong or where they are going right,
Yeah.
and we can direct them.
And think about the timing of this. So, in terms of assessment for learning, is there a particular timing within the unit plan do you think it may more predominantly occur?
I would say probably on week 1 it would occur.
Yeah, yeah, predominantly,
Yeah.
And not always, but predominantly, yes.
Yeah.
And Zabir, and what is your area of expertise? Digital or design tech?
So I was gonna ask you this question, but I was gonna wait until the end of the lecture. But I'm having some issues actually selecting the outcomes as well because uh, I'm not sure what specialization to pick because I come from product and industrial design
Nice.
background, and also I did my IT, like Masters of IT in networking and cybersecurity here at Griffith,
You sound
like
like you're
in Griffith.
both.
Yeah, I'm both. So that is the issue. So
Okay. Pick
I'm
one
trying to
example. Pick one example for this line of questioning that we're going for. Digital or design tech?
I think design tech is more my forte.
Okay, all right. Now, in industrial design, you might be using materials to design.
Yeah,
Okay. And in year 7 and 8, what type of materials do we use? What have you seen in our modules? What type of materials do students use?
we have used some very basic building materials like wood, cardboard, then we
Great.
have fabrics and stuff like
Awesome.
that.
Great. Let's use the first one that you gave me as an example. So,
Yeah,
timber, wood.
timber, yeah.
Now, if you're trying to assess and indicate in that first week of your unit plan, how much experience a student has had with that material, how would you do that in your unit plan? Now, that's a big question. So, what I'm going to do is allow some thinking time and I'll repeat the question. So, you're meeting your year 7 class for the first time. They're studying design and tech, and the material that you're using for the term is timber. How do you assess students' prior experience with this material?
Like in my opinion, how I experienced it, I will probably use a similar kind of example. Like during my design class, I had no idea how to use wood. I mean, I have seen it all the time, but I have never actually worked with it. So our professor basically gave us like something very, very tiny and small to gauge our experience like with that material by trying to have us build some kind of like pencil holder or something like that, which is like a common thing every student would like use during their classes or something. So
Good. Now, that's a
every
great
yeah
way of measuring students' skills and then
yeah
building skills before that. Mary Kay and Margarita have put something additional in the chat as well. Margarita has suggested that you could ask students a question such as, have you made anything with wood before?
yeah. So there will obviously like be some kind of like a lecture of sorts where I would probably try and get to learn about the students, about what they have experience with in terms of materials, and
Yep,
then slowly go towards like the actual like task they have to do, which would be like with wood.
great. And your unit plan should reflect that. So if you
Yeah,
think
yeah.
about what examples have you experienced in this unit? So everyone completed a Padlet. That's how I found out your knowledge and where you come from and your background. Okay. So that was my assessment for learning. In
Yeah,
the
yeah,
first sessions, I asked everyone
yeah,
what state they were from, and we
yeah,
found some people from ACT.
yeah,
Okay. And so that needed, for me to pivot and include ACT in the slides as well. Okay. Now, in terms of the next one, so assessment as learning. Now, this involves students in the learning progress themselves. And ideally, we want students to have a little bit of ownership of that. Okay. Now, Zubair, I really like your example around that small task to get students to show you what they know and to build skills as you go. So I think you mentioned a pencil box, for example. How could you again, this is a really big question, and Zubair, you're more than welcome to pass to a friend and people in the chat. I love that you're helping and adding in your points as well. So when they're doing that task, how do we encourage students to monitor their own progress as they practice the skills? So when they're making that pencil box,
yeah.
how do we get students to monitor their progress and improve as they go and practice their skills?
For me, I'm just gonna share my own experience. At least that's how I see it. So, just from the top of my head, my professor would go around and see if everyone is safely using the tools, like before anything, because there may be some like cutting and stuff like that.
Great.
and
Yep. So
like
you're
holding tools.
checking and you're giving
Yeah,
correction on
yeah,
the go, you're
yeah,
providing encouragement, you're
yeah,
constructively monitoring behavior.
yeah,
Great.
yeah.
And then what about their quality of work? That is how they are working. How do they measure their learning progress on the quality of work as they go?
Well, for me, I would first of all, like, irrespective of what the quality of the work is, I would probably try to encourage them by telling them that they have done a great work before everything, and then slowly try to give like more feedback on how they can build up and improve on the work they have already done. Perhaps like cut the timber in a specific way, or like polish it in a different way than the way they're like doing, like something of that sort, perhaps.
Mm. Yeah, you're correct. And your friend Brooke in the chat has shared that maybe they could mark themselves against a rubric because what you've described is very teacher-centric, and there's one of
Yeah,
you and there's 24 at least of students in the
yeah,
class. So
that is true.
and you've got 55 minutes. So if you be that logical person and trying to divide up your time, you need
Yeah,
to, yeah, so peer feedback, as Mina has said,
yeah,
which is fantastic.
yeah.
Checking for understanding. So pair, share, and demonstrate. Mary Kay, that's fantastic. So good. Natasha's got a table, self-assessment criteria, all fantastic. Great, 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 great. View each
The
other's
best,
work. These are
the,
excellent. Good.
yeah.
Yeah,
In my view, like the best would be to have that checklist and peer feedback perhaps
great.
combined together, which basically, if I'm doing a work as a student,
Yep.
I give my work to the student next to me, and they basically put my name and do the checks from them, and then give it to the teacher, and then the teacher gives feedback.
Awesome. And I'm going to take you out of the hot seat and ask a bigger question, and I'll
Okay,
I'll ask for someone else's voice, please.
okay.
So that is a great way of students assessing their own learning. So they are using a rubric and there's a table, a checklist of steps that they're doing. Now, you have a diverse learner in your class. Tying assignment one in here, you've all done this so well. Okay. You have a diverse learner in your class who is highly capable with practical work, but has some challenges with literacy and language. So, in comparison to their peers at year seven, they may not be at the same level of literacy. How would you adjust that? You've got this fantastic checklist that's been created and a rubric.
Um, for my textiles class, they make one of those drawstring backpacks, and I have up on the back wall, I've done a worked example of each step so they can see what they visually need to do with the step also written out. But then I've also got on Google Classroom a video of what they do for each step as well. So if they need to see it visually being done for them, they can access the video, or they can read the steps on the back, or they can ask a friend, or like there's lots of little things that they can do to find the information to do each step.
Awesome, Natasha. Well done. Thank you. So what you have done there in these examples just now is you have shown that you know the different levels and types of assessment for, as, and of learning. Now you need to think about how you are going to put them into your unit plan. And in your unit plan, there is a little part of the template, and there are suggested modes of assessment there. There's not every single type of assessment, but these are just here to help you. So you might tick folio, oral, practical, research task. You might delete one of those and add something different. Okay. And you are proposing the different types of assessment. Now, if I just go back through the chat and just go back and I'll refresh. What have we got? We've got um, checklists and peer feedback. Okay, so if that is a type of assessment that you're using and it is formalized in the class, then that should be in your unit plan. If you've got criteria for self-assessment, that should be in the front of your unit plan. If you have, if you're marking them against a rubric, then that should be in the unit plan. Okay. All right. Now it's really interesting that we've got lots of questions about the assignment. And what always interests me is the place that is chosen to ask questions. And I know that Kobe is here to keep us in time and in check. But I think that if you could imagine yourself in a class and a student puts up their hand and they ask a question that is not related to the discussion, but is related to something else, what would you do? And in the last couple of weeks, you may have noticed that I'm pushing back a little bit and I'm doing it so intentfully. So know that there is no judgment about how you participate. There is no judgment around your engagement in the class. I am modeling teaching approach. So when I push back and when I do these things, I'm not trying to call anyone out for embarrassment. I'm trying to showcase that your class time needs to be well managed. And there are times that are better to ask questions that are more in line with the content or the flow of the lesson. Okay, so try and moderate. Try and think yourself as participant in this class in the same way that your students should participate in yours. Okay. All right, let's keep going. So this is the front page of your unit plan. And also, can I just highlight the orange and blue? Now, question for the floor. What does the orange signify in the templates? Yeah, Craig, you've got it straight away. Great. Excellent. All right. So now you know that every single time you see orange, it means you can use generative AI. Okay. What about the blue? Yeah, Michaela. Woohoo! They're helpful prompts. Delete when submitting. Yeah, great, great. And it does give you indications of where to copy and paste. Beautiful. Okay, good. Chip on. You've got a hand raised. Oh, no question. That's all right. Okay. All right. So now this is a great place to start on your unit plan. I would start with the orange and then go with the blue. And don't intend to finish any section before moving on to the next. You'll get paralysis. Okay. So what you need to do is make sure that it is completed at the end. Like I'll give you an example. You might not be able to explain why the unit is important before you start writing the unit. Okay, so just see these orange prompts as a little bit of a guide to get you going. Your unit outcomes, for example. I've noticed that there is some of the posts on the discussion board, they've got like 6, 7, some have 4. Just because I've given you the tick and said you're ready to go forward into assignment 2, what if you're putting your information into this unit plan and you're like, oh heck, this outcome doesn't work. What should you do? Adjust. Great. How do you adjust? Tell me more. Mary Kay, you don't need to edit the post. You don't need to check with me again unless you feel you really want to. Yeah, yeah. But you've gotten to the point where you've got those outcomes in and you think, oh, heck, I don't know. This one doesn't work for me. It doesn't relate to where the flow of the unit plan's going. What do you do?
Monique, I actually followed some of your guided, I think it was like subtle guidance in there. And I went back through and read it, and I thought, I actually think that I've picked not design and technology from the wrong area. So even though it was really good, it was a good exercise. So I have resubmitted them again just to check over, because I actually think like you were great in saying, okay, that's good that you might want to add some more design ones in there. So I actually went back and thought, you know what, if this is going to match my class, this probably isn't the right outcome. So that was really good. Thank you.
Awesome. Great. Thank you,
Can I
Brooke. Yeah,
ask on that?
please.
Did you
Yep.
just quickly say before in the below outcomes in the blue, did you say to delete those? So whenever we've got our confirmed, our confirmed, I don't know what the correct name is for them. Sorry.
Stuff.
Yeah, the little codes.
Yeah.
Did you say you want them to be taken out before, or do we leave
Yeah.
them in there?
No,
Okay.
get rid of the blue text.
Oh, just the blue text, but we still
Yeah.
list out. Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sorry,
The blue
that's
text is
obvious.
just helper text. Like the
Oh,
orange,
yeah.
delete it. Make it your own. In a
Oh, yeah.
professional document, yeah, you wouldn't see that information in there.
No, fair. Sorry, I thought you meant delete, like don't have the list of the codes. I was like, oh no, sorry, I
Yeah,
misinterpreted
cool.
that. Thank you.
No, no worries at all. Yep. Yeah. Okay. Now, Tamna, you have a question, please.
Monique, I saw in the video recorded, you mentioned for the rational, you copy pasted the aims, rational, and key ideas of the learning area in the chat GPT. What about the rest of the content? Do we
Yeah,
just ignore
go
that?
for it. No, go
Okay.
for it. This is my little sample. I think that video was about an hour.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
yeah, that's what I want to make sure in the rational part we need to include all the highlighted points.
Yeah. Yep.
Uh, yeah.
Yep.
Okay. Thank you.
And when you weave that into a section, it would only be about, a paragraph and a bit, maybe two. Okay. It
Yeah.
should be really concise.
Okay.
Yeah, it should be really concise. If you think about your teaching materials, so I think it was, I'm trying to think who was maybe it was Natasha, that your school rotates every term or in a cycle, and students do the units at different times. And what that means is that different people pick up your unit plan, and other teachers have to read your work and use your work. So a great example is this teaching unit. You've got 4 tutors who teach this subject, and we all use the same material. So, in a week, I give everyone resources and a little bit of a plan for the week. And while we all have a different approach, the resources are the same. So unit planning is the same. You want to create a resource that can be followed by someone else. It has enough detail to be picked up and taught from.
Thank you, Monique.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Now, we have had heaps of these examples where I have shown you an outcome, given you the exact outcome code, and provided examples of strategies and activities that could teach this content. This is the sort of thing that we want to see in your unit plan. Now, what I'm going to do is do a little bit of an activity here where I'm going to try and use the pen. I know I don't always successfully use the pen, but let's give it a go. Okay, now, okay, so this one here, create a glossary of terms for the unit. How would students create this glossary? What would it look like in a class? Just take a moment to think about it. How would a student create this glossary? What would it look like in class, in a year 7 or 8 class? Oh, can you say that again? Your volume's really low.
Maybe we can pick some words from our resource and
Yeah,
give those
yep,
new words to students
yep. And where do they write them?
in their journal, maybe.
Well, yeah, maybe. Where else could they write them?
If they have a digital portfolio for our subject, they can also mention in that one and they can always refer back.
Great. What's another option?
running out of ideas.
That's okay.
And
You've got a whole
yeah,
class of people.
maybe
Who
in the
else?
wall, I think.
On the wall, like a poster?
Yeah.
Great. Yep. What else?
In their own personal journal
Yeah.
or a notebook.
Notebook. Yep. So digital notebook. Yep. What else? Google Doc. Great. Okay. So this is an example of how you need to have some additional information in your unit plan. You need to show how each of the activities will look in your unit plan. Okay, another example. Let's have a look at, because I had the question about referencing before. This is a really good one. Okay, so this, oh, my screen's just gone crazy. Okay, so we're watching this Gardening Australia segment on herbicides and chemical products. How do we reference this? How do we include this in a unit plan? If another teacher is going to pick up this unit plan, how do they know which Gardening Australia episode to watch? How should you reference this in your unit plan? Awesome. So a few people have said a link. And it says watching the segment on herbicides and chemical products. How do I know when to start it? This is such a funny thing to put in the notes, but it is so important. Now, if you've got a 35-minute or 45-minute Gardening Australia episode, yeah, timestamps would be so helpful. Yep, great, excellent. Good job, everyone. Now, what are students doing while they're watching? Now, I know that your class is going to be like my class. You're going to have 26 perfect angels that are sitting there for the whole 14-minute segment, just with their arms folded. What are they doing while they're watching? Excellent. Good work. Okay. Excellent. The chat is showing me that you are understanding. Well done. Okay. Now, I know that I presented this information last week, and I shared a strategy around Ask 3 before me. It's really important that we see initiative and independence. I can't implore enough that in time you will have hundreds of students that you are responsible for. And that responsibility level it's weighty for a teacher. It is. And I know that you're students at the moment, but in the last couple of weeks, I have been intentionally pushing back, intentionally, um, you know, positioning information rather than answering questions straight away. All right. So know that that is very intentional. And it is important that you have space to ask questions, that you don't feel embarrassed about the questions. So let's just run through some common low-level questions that I want to make sure that you know and understand. Your similarity will be high for this assessment. You are copying and pasting your outcomes and materials from your syllabus and curriculum. Okay, so your similarity will be high. Your word count will be high. Depending on the um, the curriculum and the syllabus that you're copying and pasting from, some of the outcomes are more verbose than others, which means you will most likely push the word count. The word count is from the university, it's standardized, and that means that you have to just copy and paste what's there. And there is no mark penalty for going over. I know that feels counterintuitive to be copying and pasting, but you need to. because when you are teaching outcomes for students and you're making sure that you have taught to the right level, you need to make sure you copy and paste them in full. Don't rewrite your own as learning intentions. Don't make up your own outcomes. You're using the syllabus and the curriculum as reference. Okay. Do you need a cover page for this assessment task? It's a common question. Now, I know that cover pages are important to other units of work, and that they're mandated in other units of work. And I know that it might feel a bit funny that you're not being asked to do them as mandatory. But that's this unit. Okay. Your peers have mostly asked a lot of questions on, the basic mechanics and the low level questions of this task, and they have been addressed at multiple levels in the discussion board and also in the the video that was done, the how to do assignment two. Okay, so what we want to use our time for this week are the high questions, high level questions. We want you to be bumped up the marks, and we want you to also make sure that you can see what that high HD learning looks like, and that you have access to the resources to get you there, and you don't have to do that alone. So I want to make sure that your time this week in tutorial is focused on those questions. So have you read the rubric, and are you highlighting aspects that you don't yet understand? Like, for example, what is the progression of learning in the task sheet? Can you explain that, please? What are you looking for as a marker when it says alignment of outcomes? Okay, so what need to make sure that you're using your tutorial this week with those high level questions, and that there's also the tutors have time to work on those questions with you. Now, this is where I struggle to go back to the pointer. I think I've done it. I've turned the pen off. So in your tutorials this week, it'd be really great if you could bring your questions. And it'd be fantastic if your questions were related to higher, more advanced aspects of the task. And we would love to work on that with you. So our tutors this week have samples of lesson plans, or sorry, samples of samples of lesson plans, samples of resources, samples of unit plans, and we're going through examples with you. We would love you to bring those questions of you doing the task to the tutors and to the tutorials. Kobe, is there anything that is needed to be covered in the chat so far that may have been missed?
We've had a lot of questions about clarifying the so it's just knowing that it's one thing leading like one from another. So in terms of that, I feel we've just got to go back and read the brief again, everyone, and access all the information that we can on this task. There seems to be a lot of questions being asked here that are not just clarification. Read the task. It's very, very clear. You're planning for the first 4 weeks, right? How many lessons are in the week? What was the number that was given to you? Anyone? Three to five. 3 to 5
Or
lessons. Don't have to do 5. Go for 3. 3 a week over 4. So that's 3 times 4, that's 12. You're planning out 12 lessons in a unit plan. There's other bits and pieces you need to do in there. Read the task. In part 2, that's when you're putting together the materials for your lesson. So out of those 12 lessons that you've planned in your unit plan, one of them becomes a lesson plan. Just one. Are there any other very quick questions about the difference between the two of that? And then we can move on.
For the unit plan outcomes, do we need to mention all the outcomes that are mentioned on the NESA website?
Only the
Doesn't
ones you
matter
want.
if it's live outcomes or the actual mandatory outcomes, doesn't matter.
It's up to what outcomes you're putting into it. So you're not going to meet all of the outcomes in 4 weeks.
So we can select from the life skills outcomes as well.
Do you have, oh, I wouldn't, you either do life skills or you do mainstream. You
Okay,
can't mix
got
and
it.
match. Same way that students can't mix and match in a syllabus. You're either going to write a life skills unit, which I would recommend because that's very tailored to smaller groups of students and it's very individualized. So it's unlikely you would have a lesson plan.
Ma'am, there is the mention like that you can use the template. So where I can find the template?
It's all on Blackboard.
I couldn't find it. I tried, but I couldn't find it.
Where have you looked?
It's under assessment.
Assessment, assessment two, lesson plan template, unit plan template.
Kobe, just a
Yeah,
different question. I want to know when we
of course.
introduce VCAL and life skill uh, section in our last module reading. So is it related to
Mhm.
assignment two or we just discuss about it?
We're discussing about it. It's related in such a way that it's something to consider when you're planning, because with your life skills students, depending on what their moderations are going to be, you're not going to write a completely new unit plan for them necessarily. So you take your lesson plan that you've got and the unit plan that you've already made and the project that you've designed, and you would modify it for that student. But as we talked about, students will either be life skills or mainstream. And in New South Wales, the life skills students, it's a very personalised plan. So you wouldn't be doing a lesson plan for, I suppose you wouldn't be planning outcomes specifically for a class load of life skills students. It'd be something you'd be working with. Life skills students also don't get assessed on the same outcomes or in the same way. They are
So
either
it's
achieving
just
with
for us to
support.
know that this thing exists and how this is working.
Yep.
Okay, thank you.
Oh, yeah, essentially, yes, because it is something that is becoming more prevalent in schools. There's better reporting, there's better interventions, kids are getting the help that they need earlier. So it is just something for you to have in the back of your mind. You don't have to include it in this task.
Thank you, Kobe.
That's okay.
So in the assessment resources, there is a video which is how to do assignment two. And in that, I talk through while I am doing a unit plan. And in our tutorials this week, I'm going to extend on that example and you're going to help by continuing and practicing the unit planning together. And if there are questions about particular sections that you are stuck on, like for example, what do these things mean? Or how do I add more detail to this? Or what is expected in the diversification options column? Please bring those questions to tutorial for next week and this week, sorry. And we will walk through those questions with you. We want to show you and walk through examples with you in our tutorials. And so what that means is that you need to start the task, have a go, and get into the task. The questions about starting the task, we don't want to cover them over and over again. We really wanted to get to those higher level questions and understanding that everyone has different needs in terms of what they need out of workshop time and tutorial time. And I understand that too, but there are many people in this subject. And a place that isn't being used as much yet is the discussion board for peer-to-peer questions. And I know you probably have your own WhatsApp groups and message groups and things, but please lean on your peers. There are many people who are very experienced, and we know that from our Padlet. Okay, there's many people who you can call on who have the same area as you. Okay. Um, Now, there was a question at the start that was held, and I didn't see who had that question. Maybe I'll go back to the chat and see who had that question.
Hello, Manik. I'm Mehek.
Hello, Mehek. Hello.
Oh, how are you?
Good. Thanks for being so patient. I appreciate you.
Yeah, that's fine. Actually, I had some confusion about my subjects. Maybe I texted in the chat and I selected design and technology and I put the outcomes for the digital technology ones.
Okay.
But like as my previous studies, it's related to the digital technologies.
Okay.
And I was so confused that am I going to do the design and technology or digital technologies, or I can just choose digital technologies because I'm more interested in that one.
I'll answer this question so that anyone who is thinking of the same question as you, Mahak, can know
Yeah.
what to do.
Yeah.
So I would choose based
Yeah.
on what do I have more confidence in?
Yeah. So I'm more confident in the digital technology
Okay,
ones.
great. That's one way to make a decision. The
Yeah.
next way to make the decision is what is my placement most likely going to be in?
Mm, it's just that because they gave me the design and technology thing.
Okay.
So if like I want to go all the way to the digital technology because I have the experience regarding all the programming and stuff and data visuals and everything. So that's why just want to confirm that okay, if I choose my outcomes related to the digital technologies, will it not be impact like any of my future studies or anything that I can be a digital technology teacher, something like that?
Why would that be the case, do you think?
Because of like design. It's like I was confused. That's why, like, as I'm explaining you that I was so confused about the.
Okay, so my advice to anyone who is in the same position as Mahak and doesn't know what to do, which path to go on, pick what you are most confident in. Everyone used outcomes
Yeah.
referenced for assignment one. Why
Yeah.
not use the same and go deeper?
Yeah. And also, like, I was trying to search in, as you showed me previously, like Victorian curriculum, and I couldn't find that page. Like, I don't know, it's me only, or I'm behaving a bit stupid, but is it okay if you can please show me once, like, or which website, or maybe if someone can send me that link that I can go and check all the, all the curriculum things, because I tried about 100 times and I'm not getting the perfect result that I wanted to see.
Okay. So I know a friend has helped you in the chat, but
Yeah.
this is an example of how I'm pushing back a little bit. All right. So I'm going to suggest that you go back to module one. That's
Yeah.
one place where you can find the information. The
Yeah.
next thing you can do is check what you referenced in assignment one.
Yeah.
You can also go to a website that you're using, find the outcomes, put them into ChatGPT and ask it, is this the current curriculum that's being taught in Victorian schools?
Yeah.
Okay. Another thing that you can do is
Yeah.
that you can Google search current curriculum being taught at year seven for digital technologies and see what comes up.
Yeah, sure. I will try it again and maybe I'll just check module one.
Okay. Now, if you do general
Yeah.
internet searches,
Yeah.
what you might find is that your AI result, that's your summary at the top of the page, it may not have correct information. And
Yeah,
if you
that's
were,
right. What I was trying to do actually.
yeah,
Yeah.
and if
Sure.
you're a teacher of a class
Yeah.
and you're teaching students how to research, what would
Yeah.
you say in return? You would say, don't read that AI summary. It's not always correct.
That's right.
Yeah,
Thank you for helping me out.
you're more than welcome.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're more than welcome. Okay. Someone said I made a coffee. Chocolate. Yes, please. What else? We've got 7 minutes.
Monique, could you please explain about the reference part? The one I was asking before the
Yeah,
lecture.
references. Great. So remember the example that we did before about the website and the example about Gardening Australia and finding the link?
Yep.
Great. Okay. Now I'm going to bring up the unit plan and we're going to imagine that, here we go. Just going to find a little space here. I'm going to write Gardening Australia episode. What was the lovely suggestion someone said? Putting an episode number in there
And
and
timestamp.
timestamp. Great, thank you. Number 42 and starting at 13 minutes and 21 seconds. Yep. And then what do I put in?
The link for the episode
Yep. And what's really nice if you do this, if you write the word link and then you go to the insert menu and
and
you
the
put in,
comment.
yeah, and you put in the www dot there, okay? And it gives you a little hyperlink. How good does that look?
What
So
about in-text referencing? Are we not doing in-text referencing?
no in-text referencing.
And do we provide reference list at the end of the our document for all the links or things we have mentioned?
Only textbooks.
Only textbooks.
So
So
for
if we
example, pause on that question, allow me to show you.
Mhm.
So now students are doing a go to textbook, design and technologies, chapter 4. Okay. And then at the end, you will need to put the information about that textbook.
you mean in-text reference?
No in-text reference. You'll need to create a reference list because as a teacher, you'll need to know what textbook that is. This is not a university document. Remember, this is what you will use as your school for teaching.
So we
No in
just explain the what's the book name and what's the page number, what's the volume number, and stuff like that. Which
and at the end, you'll need to create your own reference list.
sorry, I logged out from my laptop and I missed what you said before. And I have also joined from my phone, so that's
Oh,
where
good.
I'm talking right now.
That's okay. You've got a recording you can watch.
Yeah. So we don't need to mention that reference list detail or the book name and the volume detail in the lesson plan. We just providing all the details in the reference list, right? That's what you said?
Let me say it in a different way.
Yep.
This is a teaching document.
Mm-hmm.
And when you're picking up this document to teach your class, you'll need to know functionally where to go, what information, what is the link, what is the URL, what is the page number of the textbook. We don't use in-text citations in our teaching documentation, but a teacher doesn't know what edition this is. So you'll need to create your own reference list for textbooks, any book that is mentioned that students use. No in-text citations.
Okay, so we are not mentioning anything in the lesson plan, but in the reference list. Thank you.
Okay, Ayush had a question, more clarification about learning resources. It's the same for YouTube as the Gardening Australia episode. And in terms of making the resource, you need to make the resource yourself. If it's for part 2, you need to make the resource yourself. Yeah.
And what is the deadline of the assessment?
Do you want to have a look at the task sheet on Blackboard and make sure you can find it? And if you can't find it, come back.
Monique, just a stupid question. What
No
if
stupid
my
question.
topic collides with someone else? Like I got similar.
I
Because
love
I
this
see a lot
question.
of students who are from IT background. I'm really stressed up. I started writing mine already, and I'm like,
I love
hold
this
up.
question.
I have so many fellow members here who have studied same subject as me.
Great.
What if my research is very, very similar to them? I'll get in trouble, you know?
Such a good question. Okay, so you are everyone in this community, in this subject, is teaching the same curriculum. We're New South Wales teachers, we're Victorian teachers, and we want your standards of teaching to be the same as the next high school. So, of course, you are teaching the same outcomes. So, when we look at the similarity report, it should reference New South Wales, ACT, Victoria. Absolutely, we should see that. And when you're looking at the discussion board and you're seeing other people with the same outcomes as you know you're on the right track. That's how you know you're on the right track.
Okay.
Okay.
Guess I'm in the right track then. I'm like, no, I
Good.
just don't want to get in trouble by end of the day, you know?
No, and doesn't it seem counterintuitive when every other subject is telling you don't copy and paste, and then you've got this teacher in pedagogy unit, it's like copy and paste the outcomes. Make sure you copy and paste them. You need to make sure you're teaching the curriculum. They must be copied and pasted, and they will be same as your peers. Yeah.
That answers my question.
Yeah.
Thank you.
No problem. And Aman has a question about ChatGPT. Yep, there's a threshold that you're allowed to use for
I
AI.
just said that if I copy and paste my assignment on ChatGPT, it like gives me a really clear explanation of you have to do this, this, this. It just gives me a checklist.
Great.
I'll keep seeing the WhatsApp if I have to add anything. So that's
Good.
what I do. Cause to be honest, Monique, you look mad. Like you, yeah,
Agreed.
yeah, you need your break.
Thank
I can
you.
see your blue hairs going black.
You're funny. Thank you, Aman. Ah, I
May
can't
I
wait.
ask a question?
Of course, Margarita. I was just saying I can't wait for you all to have students.
Oh, the draft submission for the assessment 2,
Yeah,
it's saying the 30th of the 4th, which is after the 20th of the 4th. So don't we have to do the draft submission before the actual submission on the
some people
20th
have
of the
special
4th?
considerations, Margarita. And so it's open for people to use.
Oh, I see. All right. Understand.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, so for your tutorials this week, make sure you're in the task and doing the task, and then you bring your questions about the task. Okay, try and keep your mechanical low-level questions. Ask them in the WhatsApp group, ask them in the discussion board.
Um, excuse me. Just for the resources, is there any limit for the slides? Like, if you can give us a brief idea how many slides, if we are creating a presentation PPT slides, how many slides minimum and maximum we need to include? So at least we will have brief idea
Good
how much
question.
resource we need to put.
So for an hour workshop, I have usually anywhere between 10 to 15 slides
10 to 15 slides.
is my workshop materials for you. But you're teaching year 7 and 8.
Yeah.
Does that help you?
So it will be 8 to 10 then? Or it
Potentially.
will be
Yeah.
more?
It's your lesson plan. Why don't you start, Tamna? Start the PowerPoint.
Then it
And
will be too late to ask the question because
no,
it's due next
not
week.
at all. It's due on the 20th.
Yeah.
Okay. Give it a go. Start the PowerPoint. Start the lesson plan.
Hi, Monique. I wanted to ask regarding assignment 1.
Sure.
I had mailed you today morning that I haven't been graded for assignment 1.
Okay. There's people who are waiting for they had special considerations or later submissions, and our
Right.
markers are working during the week. Okay.
All right. Okay. Oh,
Yeah.
that scared me. All right. Thank you.
No problem. Okay. Question about the assignment rubric. Mary Kay, how long do you think it will take to ask the question? Is it a juicy question or a simple question?
It's a little bit like you might need to go away and have a look question.
Okay, sure.
But on the rubric, sorry to do this without notice, I should have let you know ahead of time. I really like to work backwards. So I like tried to look really closely at it, but I'm a little bit baffled by where is it?
I'll project it on I'll share screen. Hold on a second.
Yeah,
that will help you. Give me a second.
I think there's a typo.
Oh, I'm
And
completely
then I got a bit,
imperfect.
I know, right? And I didn't want to do that, but it might be right, and it's me reading it wrong. So I thought I'd better check.
So did you notice that in the content area of assignment 2, in the brief section, I'll go to Zoom and I'll screen share. Here we are. There's a little note down the bottom.
No, I did not see that because I had it from the get-go. So I'll go and have a look.
No, not at all. So every time, like I always put like a particular color, or I put in if I change something. So you would have noticed I did the same thing with the chapter content in, yeah. Okay, because it doesn't give you like a history page on Blackboard or anything like that.
Yeah.
So I hope that helps you. But I was
Usually I
actually,
get a notification, but I mustn't have seen that one. But yeah, was it concerning the one with the sort of
there was
had
a,
it like out of order?
yeah,
Yeah, cool.
yeah. I
And
was
that
doing the
just made
read.
me question another one, which seemed like it was missing half the information. So page 6, quality of resourcing.
Yeah.
Was that adjusted as well?
Yeah. Everything
cool.
in purple was
Oh,
adjusted.
look, there it is. Awesome.
Yeah. I color code something so you don't go crazy in your brain and think, oh, I thought that was like that before and now it's not.
Thank you.
No
Because
problem
I
at all.
do that. I go around in circles.
Oh,
Thank you.
you're human and I'm imperfect. And 3 people read it and we all missed this one thing.
About embedding the Word document like unit plan, lesson plan, and the resources. If our resources is presentation slide, how are we going to embed that in the
Oh, that
Word
is such
document?
a good question. Kobe actually answered this before in the chat. You need to master the page break. Oh, your sound just went weird. Oh no. I don't know if it's me, but your audio isn't as clear as it was before.
Hello.
Perfect.
So if we use a page break, is there any option that we can embed presentation PowerPoint slides into the Word document?
Think a bit differently.
Do
Maybe
we
you could.
screenshot it?
Perfect.
Okay, clear. All good. Thank you. That was my last question.
Alrighty. Ready to sign out?
Yep.
Great.
Definitely.
You've all had a really big week. You've all gotten feedback this week. That's massive, right? Receiving feedback can make you feel different. You can feel enthused, you can feel worried, you can feel disappointed.
Devastated.
Yeah, like acknowledge all of those feelings are feelings that you might have. Put it into perspective of where you are in your course. Put it into perspective of the things that are going on in your life at the moment and the amount of time you've had for the assignment. Okay? Steer yourself towards assignment 2.
I just wanted to jump on before we left and just encourage you and just say thank you so much. And I hope one day that when I'm standing in front of a classroom of teachers or a classroom of students, I could be a teacher that has the patience and kindness as you do. Because I think you're very, very good, and I'm quite inspired by your way. I think you're fantastic, and I really appreciate you and your time. So thank you so much.
Oh, bless you, Brooke. Thank you. You put a smile on my coffee needing face. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thanks, Aman. Don't get claps in class in real life. Yeah, have a good night. Kobe will see you tomorrow. Gabriella will see you tomorrow. And I will see you on Friday. And if you can't make it, then you have the recording. Have a
Thank you,
lovely
Monique.
night. You're welcome. See you later,
Thanks,
Have a
Monique.
good night.
Monique.
See
Bye-bye.
you later. See you, Aman. Bye-bye. Signing out, Kobe. Awesome.
I was
Thanks for
going
your
to
help.
say the workshop PowerPoint for this week isn't on Blackboard yet. I'm going to do
Oh,
that.
thank you so much for your reminder. Appreciate
No,
you.
someone brought it to my attention earlier.
Oh, thank
Love
you
you.
to them. Thank you to them. All right.
Thanks, Kobe. Thanks, Monique.
You're
And that
welcome.
video was very helpful. Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. I'm going to do the same thing for a lesson plan.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. That will help.
More slow TV to come.
Thank you. Have a good night.
You too.
Monique, when is it coming? That lesson plan recording?
I'll do it tomorrow.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good night.
Let's hope it's not an hour again. Are you sick of my voice yet?
No, I'm not. I think you are.
I am. No.
Anyways, see you on Friday.
See you. I'm going to use Kobe's resources, so won't be as much me. It'll be more Kobe than me.
Thank you, Monique. Thank you, Kobe. Have a good night, guys.
See you later. See you later, everyone.